So today I'm going to be reacting to the recently released teaser trailer for All Quiet on the Western Front from Netflix. This is a classic war novel, published quite a long time ago. I've read it. This is the original copy that I read a very long time ago, right here. Great book from Eric Maria Remarque. Really, really an introduction to me into war literature. So anyway, we'll get into it, and I'll share my thoughts on it afterwards, and maybe while we're watching. TIFF, Toronto, Canadian Connection. So I like the quote here at the beginning. I think it's an interesting way to frame the movie, also the trailer, obviously, but also I think it relies, sorry, not relies, but it comes from the book and the tone of the book, especially as it changes throughout. I think it's quite interesting, especially juxtaposed with these images that we're seeing, right? Laughing new soldiers marching to the front, destruction. It very much matches with Remarque's book. And of course, stunning visuals and brutality, of course. So I want to come back to that true face comment there. I'll get that in a minute afterwards. And this is interesting as the standard, ticking clock standing on the fire step of the trench World War I shot ending here. So I think that's a bit cliche, but it's interesting nonetheless. Gets your attention, obviously. A couple things. So, of course, the visuals are going to be very well done with new technologies, all that fun stuff with filmmaking. How can it not be? Hopefully, it's not too heavy on the CGI, but it doesn't look like it. A couple of things. So the one I want to talk about first before I forget about it is that whole true face of war. I'm not saying the First World War wasn't absolutely brutal. I mean, it really, really was. I've read all kinds of accounts, all that kind of stuff. It is absolutely awful. Sometimes fiction doesn't even come close to the reality of how actual brutal it really, really was. It was awful. So with that said, though, is, and I think this connects to the release of the book, ideas about anti-war novels and views of the First World War, this sort of true face of war. It does show what I think Remarque thinks the war looks like. And that's just a general comment. It's nothing to do with coming after Remarque at all. It's just he's presenting his view, right? Which is not everyone's view. That's something I want to keep in mind for this movie. A little bit of cliche with the First World War, as these things tend to go. It's not the only one or the last one to do that, with the ticking clock and standing on the fire step to go over the parapet. That's like a standard First World War image that's used all the time, and this is no different. I think that its a tone as anti-war is very well known, but how Remarque does that is very interesting, right? From these young students who join up and become soldiers, and this sort of enthusiasm that drains away very, very quickly. Is kind of the theme of the book, right? So that's really, really interesting. Also, another thing that I think that the trailer comes across really, really well from the book, and what I took from the book, is sort of that comradeship of battle and war, right? I think that's covered very, very well in the whatever it is, less than 2 minutes the trailer is the links developed between these people at war. I think they do it very quickly, and they do it very well, though, right? The whole thing with the glasses, I think, is a great scene for that, right? He remembers the enthusiasm and all of this, and then a lost comrade. So that's kind of one of the thoughts I want to take from the trailer specifically. I mean, the visuals I think are going to be heavily influenced by 1917, the film that came out not too long ago. But again, that's neither here nor there. We'll judge this film on its own, its own intentions, its own presentation. Again, this isn't just an attack based on historical accuracy, that kind of thing, but just kind of giving some context, as historians tend to do, Anyway, so it looks like it's interesting. It's going to be in German, which is going to be really, really cool. So that's awesome. I'm sure there'll be dubs, but probably just watch it with the subtitles. But anyway, I'm going to come back when it's fully released at the end of October 28th on Netflix and give my thoughts about the whole film once I do watch it after its release. But that's just kind of my reaction to the trailer.